Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I'll start by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, and I'll do so by Shem YAHAWASHI, Yahawah being the name or the proper name of the Heavenly Father, Bashem meaning in name, and YAHAWASHI being the Son of the Most High. Now, in this video, I'll be explaining why I utilize the pronunciation of Yahawah, which is the proper name of the Most High. And when his name occurs, it'll occur as 4 letters, which we understand or which we know is referred to as the tetragrammaton. And real quick, just to give you guys a little display or illustration of what that looks like, you can look on the screen. So a little bit before we go deeper into the tetragrammaton, let's touch on why the Most High's name is important. Let's go to the book of Psalm 116 in verse 1. And it says, I love Yahawah because he hath heard my voice and my supplication. So the topic right here is prayer. And the psalmist here is thankful to the Most High because he's heard his supplications, meaning prayers. So let's continue on, to the following verses. All right, let's jump down to verse 2. It says, because he hath inclined his ear unto me, therefore will I call upon him as long as I live. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the pains of hell gat hold upon me. I found trouble and sorrow. Verse 4. Then called I upon the name of Yahawah. O Yahawah, I beseech thee, deliver my soul. All right, so let's highlight verse 4, because it says, I called upon the name of the Lord. And then it proceeds to say, O Lord, I beseech thee, deliver my soul. All right, so let's look at this particular clause within verse 4 in the Hebrew. Let's take a look. Now, when we look at this particular clause, it reads, A quadra ana Yahawah. So what's being said here is, I will call, pray Yahawah. And then the rest, it says, Malata Napashia, meaning to deliver my soul. But the point, really the point of what we're trying to get to is that first part of the clause, which says, again, A quadra ana Yahawah, because it's saying, I call, or I will call, I pray Yahawah. And if you're calling on and praying to, or praying for, or praying up a specific person, that would include you calling on their proper name. And the reason I would say this is because of what the definition of quadra actually entails or encompasses. Now, when you read the definition, it's Strong's H7121, which I'll place on the screen. And I read the highlighted part. It says, i.e., properly addressed by name, but used in a wide variety of applications. So it's not only used to call on people's names, but that's encompassed within the definition. Because a part of calling up someone or, reciting something is actually pronouncing it or saying what you're actually talking about. In this case, we're calling on a particular name. So actually calling on the particular name is a part of the use of this particular word, quadra or korara, in the modern dialect. So again, if you want to call on the Most High, you'll need to call upon his proper name, right? But if that isn't enough reason, to strive to have his proper pronunciation, it's a matter of respect also. And I would think that all of us who believe in the Most High do respect the Most High. So in the case of, respect and respecting, one's identity, proper pronunciation of one's name is a part of respecting one within their identity. And I'm going to read this real quick and I'll drop it on the screen with the link below. It says, "Say my name, the importance of name pronunciation. Our name helps to shape our identity. Being called by our name is powerful and allows us to feel seen and respected." So again, it says our name helps us shape our identity. And then it says being called by our name is powerful and it allows us to feel seen and respected. So if we pay that reverence, to one another, then why not pay that reverence to the Most High? Especially here, in Babylon, we pay so much respect, to how Esau runs around and wants to be referred to in a certain way, or you even have Israelites, that may not be in the knowledge itself. They walk around wanting to be called by certain things, and a lot of us, we pay that respect. Why wouldn't we pay that same respect and more to the Heavenly Father? But that's just something to ponder on. But here's another one. Let's jump down. It's in the same link. It says pronouncing names correctly. And it says respect. Treat a name like any other part of someone's identity and treat it with respect. It is important not to make a joke or try to shorten or change the name. Right? So it says treat a name like any other part of someone's identity and treat it with respect. It also says to not make it a joke or try to shorten or change the name. Right? And this is, obviously the respect that we want as mere men. So again, why think that YAHAWAH isn't owed the same respect or more? Right? But again, that's just a piece of that to ponder on. But, I'll place that whole study in the description for anyone that wants to take a look at that and read it. But let's jump back to the tetragrammaton that I mentioned before. So the tetragrammaton, just to give a little bit of background, is four letters, is the four letters that make up the Most High's name. And the word tetragrammaton goes back to the Greek word tetragrammatos. Tetra meaning four and gramma meaning letters. So it means having or has four letters. But moving on, the tetragrammaton is argued, to have different pronunciations. But I'll be discussing, how the true pronunciation of the tetragrammaton is YAHAWAH. Now, for naysayers, that tend to, show, hate and seem to be bothered by, how us brothers, pronounce certain things in the dialect of Hebrew we speak, and they say the names we use are fake. I'm going to show you guys, the so-called white man using the same pronunciation for the Most High's name that we use. And I want to see it. I want to see if you'll criticize him. So real quick, I'm going to play the audio for you.
YAHAWAH, the name of the Lord. Don't take up the name of the Lord.
Right, so again, I'm going to play it one more time.
Et Shem, YAHAWAH, the name of the Lord. Don't take up the name of the Lord.
Right, so if you listen closely, and I'll try to make sure I stitch in the video footage, we can see there that doesn't appear to be a practicing Israelite. But we can obviously hear that this gentleman affirmed that the Most High's name is YAHAWAH. That's plain. But, if you need more, we have more. And this is another one for naysayers, that need validation from so-called white people. This time I have a scholar. His name is Jeff Benner, and he's an author, and he's renowned within the field of linguistics, and he's known as a researcher. And he has a website and a platform. It's called ancienthebrew.org, and I'll place the description for this particular article in the description. So, like, I'll place the link for this article in the description. Now, let's read what he has to say concerning the name of the Most High. So it says, "What is God's name in Hebrew? If you have been searching for the true pronunciation of the name of God, you have probably discovered that there are many different sites providing different pronunciations. The reason for this is simple. There is no possible way to know with 100% accuracy how this name was originally pronounced. Let me explain." So, real quick, if you look at his premise, he believes that the true pronunciation can't be known with 100% accuracy. So the information here, will be his quote unquote expert opinion, just on the matter at hand. So let's look below at some more from this article. Let's jump down, and I'll place it on the screen once again. It says, the 4 Hebrew letters. The name of God, often referred to as the tetragrammaton, a Greek word meaning 4 letters, is written with 4 Hebrew letters, Yod, He, Vav, and the letter He again. One of the oldest known examples of this name is found in the temple Ostraka. Not the Hebrew, Slakia. Note that Hebrew is read from right to left. Let's jump down. This style of Hebrew script is called Paleo-Hebrew and was in use by the Hebrews from about 1000 BC and into the 1st century AD. Now let's examine the pronunciation of each of these letters. Now, this that was just displayed on the screen is an artifact, and it was known as a receipt, that was given out during the time of Zechariah, the prophet, because his name appears to be on this particular artifact. But moving down, we see the style of script used, and it's referred to by many, talking about the style of script that's used, it's referred to by many as the Paleo-Hebrew, but the technical name for the script is called the Middle script or Middle Semitic script. Now, for any information on this artifact, I'll drop the link in the description. But continuing on, again, I'll make my premise clear. The name of the Most High is Yahawah. But, people have arguments. Many use the pronunciation Yahweh. Some use Yahuwah. But in this video, I'll speak to why I believe Yahawah is most accurate. Let's continue on in this article. I'll put it back on the screen. It says, the Vav, the modern Hebrew, Slakia, in modern Hebrew, this letter is pronounced with the V or V sound as in vote. However, there is some debate on this among scholars, and many believe that this originally had a W sound. This is one of those letters that would take a vowel sound when at the end of a syllable and would have an O or U sound. Let's take another look at the name in the temple Ostraka with the possible sounds for each letter. So, as you can see, you see the different possible 4-letter combinations. You see YHVH, YHWH, YHOH, YHUH, right? And and we see specifically that third letter, which is the Y or the Va. It said that scholars debate the original pronunciation of this particular letter, but most, if you study this topic, most believe that it had the W sound. But real quick, let's look at the YHWH and the YHUH. Let's highlight those for a second. Now, just speaking to us that are awakened and know who we are, a lot of us in Israel, a common pronunciation that we may hear, aside from Yahawah, is the pronunciation of Yahuwah. And people that push this particular pronunciation, an argument I've heard is they say that the U predates the W, right? And they'll say that the W is 2 V's together, right? But I want to show you something regarding the letter U and where it was derived from, and I'll place it on the screen along with the link, of course, and I'll put it in the bio or in the description, and I'll read the highlighted part. It says, the letter derives from a character in the Phoenician script, attested from the 11th century BCE, that originated as a pictogram of a hook, but also a sound transliterated as Wa. So this says that the U derived from the W, not the other way around. And it dates it to the 11 BC. So the pronunciation of Yahuwah has less of a chance of being as accurate as Yahawah. So let's jump back to the article. It says added vowel sounds. You will notice that we are still missing some vowel sounds, with the exception of the letters Yod and Vav. Hebrew was written without vowels, and they were simply known to the readers of the day. but may have been lost to us over time. More about this in a moment. Now, our possible pronunciations for this name are many. Here are just a few possibilities. Now, first and foremost, what I'm going to do um, is just point out the fact that this proves um, that the Hebrew wasn't written with vowels. And, it says that they were understood to the readers during that day. So it's safe to say that the vowel pronunciation wasn't ambiguous. It wasn't like, for instance, we have a vowel system, that's codified, that comes after the completion of the compilation of the scriptures, which is called the matrix lectiones. And real quick, I'll drop this source and I'll place it on the screen, and this will just speak on the matrix lectiones. And it says, to make a long story short, at some point, writing just consonants became not sufficient. Gradually, the ancient Hebrews and Phoenicians started to use some of the consonant letters for the indication of long vowels. So this was a change that came later on. Now let's jump down to the disclaimer. It says, some people believe that saying such and such letter reads as such and such vowel is not quite correct in the case of matrix lectiones, but it would be much more accurate to say such and such letter indicates the presence of certain vowel. So the point here, it says that this indicates the presence of certain vowels. That is an example of ambiguity, which just means uncertainty. That's what we see with the matrix lectiones. But, as we read in the article initially, it said that the vowels were known, to the readers of that day. They didn't have to guess, and they didn't have to say, oh, well, this indicates this. uh, you know, they would have known during that time, and most likely, the vocalizations, of the letters within the Hebrew alphabet, it would have been simple and easy to understand, but we know for a fact that the vocalization that we utilize in the modern Hebrew today doesn't mirror what was used in the ancient world. That's clear. But let's go back to that piece of the article. Let's read it again. It says, you will notice that we are still missing some vowel sounds, with the exception of the letters Yod and Vav. Hebrew was written without vowels, and they were simply known to the readers of the day, but may have been lost to us over time. More about this in a moment. Now, our possible pronunciations for this name are many. Here are just a few of the possibilities. It says, YAHAWAH, YAHIVAH, YAHIVAH, YAHAWAH. So let's stop there. Let's look at the fourth one again. It says YAHAWAH. So we see that even the so-called white man says it's a possibility. So again, this is to certain naysayers, and hopefully they can receive it, but they probably won't. But most high willing, the sincere folks, they can understand, what's being bestowed upon us within these articles and these sources. And also, just to be fair, Jeff Benner's guess or his final conclusion isn't that the Most High's name is Yahawah, but he believes it could be a possibility that his name is Yahawah. Right? But us who believe, in the truth and have came into that understanding, we believe and hold fast that the Most High's name is pronounced Yahawah and his son's name YAHAWASHI. And Most High willing, I have more to speak on concerning this topic, but for now, I'll wrap it up with that. And up until next time, I'll say Shalom.
The angels of the Lord encamped around me. It had to be, I know it had to be. The angels of the Lord encamped around me. It had to be, I know it had to be. Ain't no free will, it's all predestinated. From every death to every child brought forth through copulation. For the spouse that you choose to your current occupation, you either receive mercy or Yahawah's indignation. I can recollect on times that I could have been dead, caught lacking, no strap. I had